Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and craft beer. It's episode 464. It's been a minute, and I'm joined by my good friend, Aadil Kurji.
Hello.
Hello. And I'm Ben. I don't think I said that. There you go. We're going to drink some beers. We're going to talk about some video games. Aadil, what are you drinking tonight?
It has been a minute, but I have been saving this Beak Harvest number 2.
Yes.
Because I think last episode I was on was Harvest number 1.
Yes.
And this one is the double dry hopped IPA at 6.5%.
Is that the one Lucy picked up as well?
Potentially, but I wasn't sure if Lucy was showing up.
Yeah,
I don't know if Lucy still has it, but if she does, I still have the number 3 on the shelf.
Okay.
So she can give her thoughts on the number 2 while I give my thoughts on number 3.
Fair.
Yeah. So this double dry hopped IPA is one of our trios celebrating our freshly arrived hand-selected hops from the USA. We choose our hops for the individual impact of each varietal, but also how they work in harmony together. Packed full of our punchy Citra and Citra Cryo lots and backed up by our Citra and Idaho 7. Presumably nice. The backed up is the dry hopped ones, I'm imagining. Yeah, because there's citrus in both. Yeah, so I'll crack this. Why don't you tell me about your beer?
Cool. I am going to be drinking a new beer from Wiper and True called the Salted Caramel Shake, which is a 5.6% milk stout. So it is their milk stout image, but in a milkshake cup instead of just the rocket. It's not vegan. It does have lactose in it. Inspired by our iconic milkshake, this velvety smooth stout is a celebration of decadent flavour. Layers of creamy vanilla and hints of cacao balanced perfectly with dark roasted malts, all finished with a swirl of salted caramel, an indulgent twist on a beloved original. So there we go. As I said, 5.6%. I can't remember what their milk stout is percentage-wise, but it'll be similar. It's around that 5 point something mark, I believe. I will pour, and you can roll back round for Harvest 2. Is it just called Harvest 2?
It's called Harvest number 2.
Right.
Oh, wow, you get citrus coming off right away, so, lemony, slightly lemongrass. No. It's quite delicate on the nose. Poured one just over finger ahead, and it's just remained since I poured. It's really lovely smelling. Almost a touch of like passion fruit, just with the more citrus flavors. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it was Citra Cryo lots, then dry hopped with Citra and Idaho 7. This is really lovely. It's got a richness. I guess it is 6.5%, so you're getting that's more viscous, less wet, but it is Citra through and through.
Nice.
Really easy on the palate. Lovely lemony and slight sweet orange notes. So not tart, but just etc. It's got a slight biscuitiness to it, giving it more depth than just pure hops.
Okay.
Oh, super drinkable. It's got a little that citra hit right at the top. Just gives it a peak of sort of bright flavor, which is a peak. It sort of diminishes, leaving just this lovely lingering taste of exactly what it started with. So this is one of those things where on the taste curve, I often talk about we often talk about the interchange of flavors, and this is actually more like everything's melded really well together. Except for, and it's sort of a peaking of this the Citra sort of, like I said, lemon, slight sweet orange hit, but it fades, so it's not just like bright in your mouth. It's like a bright moment and then fades into more of the same. The finish is pretty long. and you're getting more flavors out there. Like I don't want to say it's one note. It's more of that combined note just is flowing in strength as the more predominant thing that's happening in the taste. I do get a bit more of the sweetness on the finish. There's a note I can't quite place right now. That's once that come down from that bright initial taste happens. Sure what that is.
Okay.
It's really, really lovely.
Is it a little
This
hint
is
that will
exactly the kind of,
unveil?
like, sorry?
Do you think it's a little the thing you can't pick up? Is it something that's a little bit too weak, or is it something you think will come into focus a little bit more?
Oh, I just think I can't place the taste.
Right.
I can't describe it well. It's not like a light. It's not that it's a light note. Yeah. But this is the kind of dangerous, like, late spring sunny day beer that you like. It's actually really interesting because it's so easy to drink and really tasty. I could see myself drinking it quickly and not wanting another one and forgetting it's 6.5%. But actually, that finish is really long, and like I said, that like lingering, almost tangerine mixed with like a sweet lemon, just a bit of tart, a bit of sweet citrus, just remains.
Okay.
So like equally, I could see myself drinking this very slowly. Like in this podcast, I might drink it very slowly, except for the fact I'm a bit thirsty, and if
Yeah, fair.
I haven't talked all day because I live alone and don't even have an animal to pretend like it understands me. But yeah, so my throat is very not used to speaking today. But other than that, I could easily see this like just like, oh, it's like it's still there, and it hasn't really diminished after the sort of first 20 seconds. So I could just see myself sort of luxuriating in this finish,
Nice.
and then be like, oh, right, I have a sip, and then sort of. So it could be a really nice session, but I guess if you're like animated and you're like I said, if the weather's nice, any excuse to have a sip, this is so drinkable. I could see it disappearing fast, but not in a way that is because it's making you.
Lovely. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. The salted caramel shake. Big. As soon as I crack the tin, huge nose on it. Absolutely massive. You can get all of that sweetness. Just even from here, just so much. And it is that lovely caramel note straight away on the on here. It is that caramel sweetness. Obviously, it's a stout, so it looks very much like a stout.
Yours fits the weather today better than mine.
I mean, it's been all right here. It's been okay. It's kind of been a bit warm. It's been a little bit sunny, bit more cloudy. But I just, as soon as I sort of saw it, I was like, ooh, a new wiper and juice out. Yes, I will buy this thing. Irrelevant of the weather.
It's been overcast and rainy. This is the first day that since I moved in that my smart meter has told me that I've used more than 2 pounds of energy. Because between me being here and doing some work, etc., and the overcast, it means the solar panels were not charging a battery.
Yep.
Nor were they powering the few things I have turned on in this house.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to start off. This is nice, but it feels a little one note. So big caramel nose, huge caramel nose. That caramel's a little subdued in the flavour. It's kind of a bit of an aftertaste. I know this is salted caramel shake. I'm getting that hit of salt, and then it turns kind of into a bit of a maybe like an iced coffee with like a caramel shot in it. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, but not.
That's what the tin looks like.
I mean, I'm not getting much more than that from it.
Really a shame.
Yeah, it's, and I think that salt sticks around, and rather than it being that kind of like nice roasted bitterness, leading in, as the finish, that salt kind of overrides a little bit, or at least that feeling of it. And it's a touch thin, not too thin, but it's not quite as velvety as the flavour text sort of suggests. Yeah, not quite medium body enough. It's a little thin. Flavour isn't as big as I would want. I've only drank alcohol-free beers this evening so far. I'm a solo dad for the weekend, so I'm trying to be good. So I'm in charge of small children. So it's been alcohol-free beers this weekend, apart from this one. So there's nothing that should be affecting this flavour. Unlike, previous episodes where I've smashed a bottle of wine back or something before. Yeah, it's not quite giving me enough, really. I will see if it unfolds perhaps as it gets a bit warmer. It has been in the fridge for a couple of hours. Maybe actually by the time I've taken it out, maybe about 3 hours or something. So it may warm and unfold a little bit more, but we will see as we progress through the episode. So, games.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess it's interesting because you sort of said it's quite powerfully one note, but then you were saying sort of weak. Is it that it just was like those first sips are like, oh, it's big, or is it? I guess is it big for a stout, or is it big for a Wiper and True? That's the part. Like I was expecting something to be less boisterous and more nuanced as their take, but this is like quite a melange of flavors, and it sounds like you were saying it does if it wasn't Wiper and True, if you just read the label, you'd expect that sort of initial hit. Or did I misunderstand?
I think when you take that first sip, it is and maybe it is more because it's a Wiper and True stout. You take that first sip, you're like, oh, okay, and then you're like, oh, okay, because it doesn't do anything. It feels like a big sip at first because it is a strong iced coffee caramel shot sort of flavour. But then that is it. And actually, once you've had that initial hit, you don't get that hit again. It just tops the flavour up a little bit when you have that second, third, fourth sort of sip. And as you're going through it, there is nothing about those next few sips are big in any way. They're just a continuation of a flavour which, as I say, initially kind of was like big and felt one note. And then was like, okay, there is a bit of flavour here, but actually it's maybe not even nuanced. It's just quite light, and that combination just continues without any flow or melding of those sort of flavours together. But as I say, it could be it's a bit cold. We'll see if it warms.
Yeah,
and
if I can tell I've been editing philosophy papers, undergraduate work for too long, because I was like, oh, if I could paraphrase what you're trying to say, what you're saying, not trying to say, but is that the subsequent tastes feel like a renewal rather than having a taste of the beer. Like it's just sort of like I'm here again.
Yeah, exactly. Just pushing that flavour on, the same sort of path without any change in level or flavour or anything, and that's fine. It's consistent, but it's, I don't know, there's something in here that's missing for me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if I can be so bold, that's just not what you expect from Wiper and True.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and perhaps that's what it is. The expectation maybe was more than I have, than I've got, perhaps. I'm still going to drink it, of course. It's not, it's not a bad beer. It's not it's not a terrible flavour. I don't want to drink it kind of beer. It's a nice beer. Flavour's nice. There's just a lack of something. Cool. Okay. We'll come back to beers. Because they may, or this one at least may, unfold a little bit, and the harvest will continue to be as good as it sounds. It's been a couple of weeks, I think, since we last recorded, but things have been busy for everyone, so I don't imagine we've played a huge amount of games.
I've played a game.
Amazing. Let's go.
I've played a game that I can't remember where I saw it on, but it's the most generic game. It's called Neverness To Everness.
Mate, literally, I saw this advertised earlier today, and I'm like, that's the game Adil mentioned several months or so ago.
Yeah.
Fair.
It came out on the 26th. It's a gacha game. It's a generic anime thing, and it's like perfect for I don't want to use my brain, right? Because my brain
Brilliant.
is being overused.
Yep.
And it's like it's a mobile. It's also on PC and whatever.
Mhm.
I took some finagling to in desktop mode to put it on my Steam Deck.
Okay.
It's great. It's like you're in a world where something happened and anomalies have taken over, and it's this like urban exploration magic. Not steampunk, so like the technology is regular, but there's all this magic, but the magic stuff has influenced like how certain things work, right? But there's like it's a open world, run around, do quests, side quests, level up your team. When you go into battle, you only ever have one active character. You have the 4 bits of the D-pad to pick the members of your team. There's team synergies, like if someone of this Esper type is doing damage, and you click someone with there's like a wheel of elements essentially. Like it's all standard, right? So none of the details like really matter, but you can switch to a character and they'll do things. So like the main character, who of course is an Esper, who has a magic power of like being able to sense anomalies in a way no one else seems to have, but they have no memory. Of course, anime trope. But like them and my main damage dealer they'll hit an extra time when I switch to them.
Okay.
So it's got there's 2 different teams, and obviously there's like gacha mechanics, and so the like most powerful DPS character is in the limited time banner, where if you don't get it now, you'll never get it again, and if you want to. And it's very gacha, so like you can level your characters up 6 times, and they unlock special abilities. Though you only can activate, but you can only do that if you open a second version of the character.
Right.
So
okay. Yeah. So you not like cards or what? What's the delivery method for these? Is it card packs or boxes or chits?
You
or
roll
coins?
dice and move around a game board.
Okay. All right.
But it doesn't really matter, right? Because it's a complicated game board, and there's like the standard board where you can unlock most of the cast, and then there's the event game board, which has a fancy skin for the character Natalie, who's the cat girl, obviously, who's the high DPS character. I told you, anime, and a couple others, and you roll the dice, you move around, and then the spots that like will get you the best things are locked on. You have to land on a specific square, which will open up a sideboard to the board and send you along that loop. And you have to land on the thing the square that has the thing, right? But I mean, really, it is. You can just fast forward through all that. It's just dopamine animations. It's just like push button, get thing, right? But because gacha games it's been a while since I've played one. They've listened to non-whales enough that like there are pity mechanics.
Okay.
So it's like it's something like every 30 rolls you're guaranteed an A class character, and as soon as you get an A class character card or whatever you want to call it, you unlock them. That counter resets, and then every 70 or 50 or something, I can't remember the exact numbers. Every something, it'll guarantee you to unlock that extra route on the board, board transformation, and then every 90 you just get the character, the Natalie. which means you can just buy your way into the 6 levels. But like I got to like 60 pulls and I happened to get the thing, and then I was like, oh well, maybe I'll try and get like a second copy because every now like because I've got the guaranteed one. Oh no, that counter reset. Right, because it's a guarantee within, and I was like, "How that makes sense?" But I just looked at the numbers and assumed that every N pulls, and then if you were lucky, you got two. Right? No, no.
Uh-huh.
If you're lucky, the counter just resets early.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
and there's like tons of stuff that you can like equip, and you have to upgrade. And that's all like, sure, I don't care. I'm going to obviously free to play this, and I'm not trying to like optimize. And as soon as it becomes like grind, I'll stop it because it's mostly just like kill time game.
Mm.
The plot's fine. The fights are trying different teams out and figuring them out has been fun. There's enough. There's like anomalies you're supposed to hunt that are in the world that you can seek out. But really, the thing is that it's such a big game because once you unlock at some like level 10 or something, you unlock the ability to like be a city tycoon leveler, and then the first level of that is you buy a coffee shop, and then you put the people you've unlocked to work in the coffee shop, and you start earning money passively. But you also have to, um, as you get better, so that coffee management sim itself has levels.
Mhm.
As you level up, you unlock different recipes, but the recipes have ingredients and there's stores around town, so you have to go pick up the ingredients, or you can ask for delivery. And if you look at delivery, it's like 40% of the price of the ingredients.
Okay.
So you spend almost no more than that. It's 80% of the price of the ingredients. So you spend almost double, just shy of double, of the price of the ingredients to just refill right away, which is such a great idea because it's actually the game's quite free with the money.
Mm.
They're like money of the world, which is the
Mhm.
least important currency because there's like 17 million things that you earn that you can spend, and I didn't even know you could upgrade your arc, your little computer, until I hit a wall on leveling up some other thing. And it's like, well, you can't do that until you do this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do this.
Right.
But in the City Tycoon, you have this like copy management sim, and you can pick the different recipes, and then you can level up the life skills of the characters, and they'll give different bonuses depending on which ones of them they are. And so, one of my characters gives like plus 18 to walk-in traffic, and another
Mhm.
one says people will more likely buy the more expensive thing. And as you level the character's life skills up, that goes up. Because it's an urban environment, you get a scooter to move around in, and it's really slow. But there's teleportation booths, like little old school phone booths, so you can move around. But when you get a certain and when you get to higher up in the city tycoon, you can buy property, which you can then put people in to live there and upgrade your bond with them, and also put a bed in and make them stretch and rock paper scissors and take selfies and hold hands.
Right.
And I
Okay.
was like, oh god,
Okay.
I see what. Yeah. But as the stuff you find in the world or you get from beating these anomalies in the world give you items you can put in the property,
Mhm.
which you either give you a passive bonus, or when you go to the property you can use the item once every day or whatever, and it'll give you a temporary boost. So like it's a really like enmeshed game. If you don't want to play Pretty Princess Dress Me Up, which I will say, when they move into your place, they change into loungewear, and I was like, oh, I see.
Oh.
This busty character is a lot more jiggly when they're not in their uniform.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Um,
what's the rating on the game? Is it like is it all
it's all
light
like,
enough?
it's not like lewd. It's just
Mm,
it's
mm.
anime, right?
Sure.
And then but then you can, when you get to a certain level of like character level, you can then buy cars. So I bought like a car, which is much faster than the scooter, and I blew a bunch of money on a really fast motorbike to travel around. And so, but because it's like an urban environment, the driving's okay. But they've also put one of the levels in the city tycoon is you essentially become a shitty version of Crazy Taxi. You go pick people up and drop them off. And now I've just unlocked delivery, where you have a certain amount of time but if you crash into stuff, the packages get damaged, and you'll
Right.
get less money at the end, but that will earn you more of some type of income. And there's a fishing mini game. And like there's just like the City Tycoon is like a whole level, like basically you don't have to leave this game if you don't feel like doing the fighting and the questing. There's also a good photography mode that they encourage through a couple quests, and also spots that give you global bonuses. Like exploration is a big part of the game, so a lot of the stuff you do gives you these exploration points, and we have specific photo spots to show you like, oh, this is like a thing you can take a picture of, and you'll unlock some of the completion of the area for doing that. And then the other parts of completion of the area are like doing the side quests, the sort of mobs that are around there, but also every area there's like in various weird high places there's ravens or crows, and you'll see them pop up on your mini map, but they will only when you're in proximity, like your mini map in the top left, but not the main map. And you hunt them down, and they'll give you the bonuses and a little money. So it just encourages exploration. So it's just a really.
Is there any verticality to this exploration, or is it just street level? Okay, right.
Oh no! Like all these crows are very important because they're often on like one of them is on a sign that's on the side of an overpass. So the only way to get to it is to go on the overpass and then jump down and land on the sign. But also you can double jump and double sprint, which helps when running. But if you hit jump again, you basically have a weird glider thing. Very Breath of the Wild inspired.
Yeah.
Except it's a weird rodent cloud thing. But those have skins too, which you can unlock for currencies. Yeah, so I've actually really liked when the crows come out, because I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna. I'm like, I don't know if there's a better route, or if I was like, I'm on the ground, and then there's like a bridge deck here, and then there's this building. I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing this to kind of kill time, and zone out. So I'm just gonna climb up the whole building, like 30 odd floors. Because your sprint mechanic will let you run up the wall for a couple paces and stop, and you have a stamina meter, which doesn't refresh until you're back on land, but you lose no stamina for just slowly plotting.
Okay.
So it's just like, I'll sprint until I'm in the red zone, and then I'll just plot up. I'm just, let's be honest, I'll just listen to the podcast that I'm obviously also listening to, and I'll hold this thumbstick up. But yeah, it's been, the plot of... Some of the stories are less good. There's voice acting in most of it, but not all of it. So that some of the side quests don't have it, but the event quests, all the anomalies, like the stuff that like is clearly not a throwaway thing. It's all fully voice acted.
So is it sort of set up, and is it a similar kind of game to the Hoyoverse games, the Zenless Zone Zeros and the Honkai Genshin Impact things?
I didn't get that far in Genshin Impact. Genshin had way fewer things to do.
Okay.
Especially in the early game. But yeah, kind of. I mean, you have a team, and like you can run around as anyone until you get in a car. Then it's always you, presumably for driver license reasons. But there's just like, there's so much to do. I think the base map is the same. The like functional map is the same, where you've got a few currencies, you've got some crafting. Crafting is not really a thing. It's more just different. You're not making stuff to sell it, except for the fishing. There's also car racing. So like, they really leaned into urban stuff. There's always something you could do, but I think there's that environment just means you don't have to, like, I think fantasy makes it more sense when you're like making a thing. Like as far as I know, I might have missed an entire chunk of this very wide game, but I haven't seen any like make food stuff. I've picked up food randomly. Like, that's the other thing, is like there's items all around. You just run by a picnic table and you go, what's that? And the little pop-up says you can interact, and it's like, oh, it's a lost wallet, and if I turn it into the cops, I'll get um, cookies, which is a currency.
Right.
And if
The
you
good
stumble
the good
upon like
citizen currency.
yeah, and if you as you're wandering the streets, you'll see on your mini map a pair of like what look almost like handcuffs in red, and you go there and there's ruffians doing some crime, and so you beat them up, and that's how you earn cookies. Otherwise, and they're obviously
Okay.
random spawns ish, but also there's like enough variety where usually they're just harassing shopkeepers. But sometimes it's like they're stealing a car, so you beat them
Mhm.
up, but then you have to pick up the car and drop it off, which is like a little nuance to otherwise just like crushing mobs in the world. You can also. I accidentally hit the wrong button and hit a guy with my sword, and he got mad at me and chased me halfway down the block. Because there's something you clearly haven't implemented, but you have a wanted level,
Okay.
so it's like definitely wanting to crib off of a little GTA, and like there's clearly damaged cars and there's way to fix them, but I've never. My car seems fine,
Hmm.
so I don't know if they've just not implemented it or they've made it really light.
But also,
But
a wanted level would also a, a, a a want or at least an option of assisting the police in some way.
oh yeah. I just mean you. They say you can get a wanted level, but and one of the things you unlock in one of the first perks I unlocked in my house was a magic item that when I go back home, my wanted level will be erased.
Right.
I'm like, well, I've except for that one time I hit that guy and he wouldn't leave me alone, which was very comical. Because like, how far do I have to run? And then I thought I got rid of him because the quest was in the story I was what he was in front of, and I was like, "Fucking dude, just leave me alone." But maybe you can just like maybe if I like beat him up, I would get a wanted level. I'm not sure. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the kind of the game doesn't vibe that way with me. It's not
Yeah.
like a GTA where you feel like you can just do whatever to me. But anyway, that's a lot of like vague descriptions of stuff because I think the details are kind of what nothing super stands out about like the combat. It's fine. There's some interesting things I want to explore. Um, the world seems neat. It's quite well populated. There's a lot of buildings you can go into. Often it's like you go to the foyer and then you go in the elevator. I'm like, oh, that's a smart way of not having to like render the whole building's contents while you're in the main game.
Mm-hmm.
It does drain the shit out of my Steam Deck though, probably because not optimized. It's pretending to be Windows, right?
Yes. Yeah. 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 So it's not
Um,
it's not on Steam. It's its own client.
no,
Right.
yeah, it's on Mac OS, it's on Android, it's on iOS, and it's on Windows. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Interesting.
surprised on the Mac OS.
Yeah. Interesting. That it's not come out on Steam. They've just gone for
They
their
might
own.
not want. I don't know what Steam does with microtransactions and getting a cut.
Okay.
Right here, they just have to host the install files for the other operating systems and then pay the App Store because they have to.
Yeah. I wonder if
But I
it's.
was actually surprised. I played it on the phone first, and I
Mhm.
was like, nope, it's not. I'm just not of the generation who wants to develop a finesse or being fine with my thumb randomly here
Yep.
is the directions.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why I
Um,
didn't enjoy the Division game,
yeah.
which has now come out on PC. So the
Mm.
Division Resurgence, which was the mobile only and very much was only going to be a mobile game, has also come out on PC. Not on Steam. It's only through the whatever the Ubisoft client is, Uplay or something like that.
Yeah.
So locking your game away on a not necessarily just Android, but probably a bit of Android and Apple, but on one device as such. Uh, um, these guys for Neverness to Everness, obviously trying to broaden that and go, yeah, we do want to hit people on mobile. There is a control scheme to be able to do that, but also if you want to play it on PC, because that's the method that you enjoy and the control input that you enjoy. Here it is to do that as well. I assume it's on console. Um, Didn't we see it on like a PlayStation State of Play, or was it in like a
so.
not E3 something?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the one thing I will say is the combat is like different characters can have skills that will do AOE / crowd control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing is every enemy has like a break meter and their health, and when the break meter happens, they stop doing whatever they're doing. You just pummel them.
Mm.
So there is like nuance to the combat. And the other thing is they've got telegraph. If you dodge at the right time, you'll like dodge and be outlined in white, and then you'll attack and do extra damage. So there is like I like that because I had a tough boss fight that I like didn't realize that a couple of my characters were just how flimsy they were because
Yeah.
I just obviously hit a point in the game where you were supposed to upgrade things and I didn't. So I lost a character, 2 of my 4 characters, and then I was like, okay, let me pay attention. And I was like, oh shit, this boss fight's way easier if you try and dodge versus like just try and really beat it up. Which up to that point, I knew I could dodge and I would try it, but I wasn't really trying that hard because I was just like focusing on the break and then beating them up and the rotation. I was like, okay, so there's some depth here, and obviously it depends on the things, but like my current build has a character who breaks things easier, and then I've got the super high DPS character to finish them off. So it's yeah. I can see why people get trapped in games like this though, because it's like I just try this instead. Like I'll just I'm feeling bored, or wow, it's been a minute. Oh, let me just do this. And there's like 17 quests on the go because I explore and I bump into people, and I'm like, okay.
I'm trying to find. So it's developed by Hota Studio.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out where they're from. It's published by Perfect World, which is a Chinese company. I'm trying to find out where Hota is based. I cannot find
I believe they're Chinese
information. I was wondering, Chinese. I was wondering if they were sort of maybe South Korean or something.
According to Wikipedia, Hota is a subsidiary of Perfect World.
Okay.
It's in house.
Yeah, fair. That makes sense, I suppose. They've got a couple of other games of Tower Fantasy, and other stuff. And again, another free-to-play open world action game. So it'll be interesting to see if it's a similar thing to that. But what I did find interesting is they're clearly they understand their markets, because it's I don't know how many games we actually see developed for mobile, which are also developed for what is called Harmony OS, which is the Huawei operating system for their phones, which is obviously one of the bigger manufacturers and companies within China for mobile phones. So, again, another company going, we need to put this on as many things as possible. I do note it is on console, but it suggests PS5. I can see no mention of Xbox for Neverness To Everness. So Android, iOS, Harmony OS, Windows, Mac OS, and PlayStation 5.
Interesting.
Yes. But perhaps again,
fine.
Just more of a their market is perhaps more China and the the East, at least the East from us. But that region, the East Asian sort of region, perhaps is their market, and they're trying to capture the devices that people play on there, which would make sense that maybe Xbox is out, maybe they it might come to Nintendo perhaps. Who knows? The only thing I know about this game is what we saw in that, trailer, and what you've just told me. So, I think I'll leave my research there.
But if you're looking for just like a not necessarily time sink, right, but like just I want to zone out and play a not totally flimsy action RPG in an anime. I guess I think they call it cyberpunk, but I would say it's more like, you have tech in it, but it feels very much like Magic Punk, if that was a thing, where it's like, yes, there's magic infused with computers, and there's an idea that some computer stuff is doing more than it does now, but
Uh-huh.
not a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also a really annoying character because you work in an antique shop that houses hunters, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a freaking anomaly, or I can't remember, oddity or whatever it's called, but it's a sea otter with a
Mm-hmm.
television head called Tagido, and he only speaks by saying, he's like Groot. He only says Tagido all the time, which with the voice acting gets annoying. But of course, you want your magic ability means you can understand what he's saying. So the subtitles tell you all the things
Okay.
he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's just like, he's also just like the whiny teenish character. Although there's a handful of them, and it's just like, I just don't care. Please stop giving me quests involving Beak.
Well, funnily enough, the game I'm going to talk about, I've spoken
Hmm.
about previously, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I've gone back to it. But
Oh, excellent.
I did get a code a few weeks ago for a game called Homura Hime, which on Steam is like a very, very anime game, but it's more of a bullet hell kind of action game. And I haven't quite been in the mood for that frenetic, very frantic kind of play experience. The reason I haven't bought something like Saros as well, which has been, one of the games I have been looking forward to, which is kind of not at that point at the moment. And because of that, I went back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Talking of time sinks, I've finished it, so I'm done. There are a few things outstanding. A couple of one quest outstanding, which is the Gilgamesh side quest, which is 100, almost a side quest, almost in every chapter that you have to do to get to that point. When you finish, it gives you the ability to go back into chapters and do them. So I've kind of restarted chapter 13 to be like, right, this bit is now unlocked. The bit I haven't done is unlocked. I can go and do that now if I want to. I might not. We'll see how I sort of feel about it. But it is good, and I have enjoyed my time with it. No, I've played 97 hours, and that is over 2 instances about 2 years apart. So I played about 70-ish hours in my first sort of sitting, let's say, when the game released. Put it down at chapter 12. I think I've sunk about 20 hours in over the last 2 weeks, maybe.
Okay.
And finished it. And it's obviously more of the same when you get into the later chapters. But the difficulty level starts to ramp up quite significantly. So it's not kind of an RPG built to be a grind fest. It doesn't kind of lock things away behind levels. It's quite well paced in keeping you to a level to get through the game without having to go and unlock everything or find everything. But I found, especially when you go into the Temple of the Ancients, which is, a much different experience. Everything in this game is a much different experience than it was from the original Final Fantasy VII. Temple of the Ancients is okay until you get to like 2 or 3 enemies, which are just so incredible. They're like almost mini bosses rather than just enemies. And you only encounter them maybe 2 or 3 times, but they are fucking nails. And you unless you're actually thinking about how you are playing, and there's lots of ways to play Final Fantasy VII in terms of the characters and their different abilities and how you can chain things together, even just with one character themselves. Like Cloud, you can play him in a way where, yes, he's a brawler and you're doing lots of abilities, but actually you can just continually build his gauge. So, and if no one remembers, you build their, rather than Final Fantasy VII, which was a time-based system, you wait for the time, you select what you want to do, you do the thing. This has an ability gauge. So you can just do normal attacks. You're running around, you're just doing normal attacks. And when your ability gauge ups, you can do something like an ability or a spell or hit an item or summon or whatever on the menu is. One of Cloud's sort of methods of play is to continually charge your abilities and just constantly chain them. So you can get really into being like, cool, I'm literally just going to play Cloud. I'm going to ignore the other characters. I'm just going to, as much as possible, just play Cloud. That is not the way to play. You need to be constantly juggling what the characters are doing at this later point in the game. So you absolutely could have just bashed your way through the first sort of 11, 12 chapters of the game. You've really got to start focusing on exactly what everyone is doing and the strategy that everyone is doing. Elemental attacks and weaknesses has always been a big thing in RPGs. It was in the original Final Fantasy VII. You've used them a little bit in those earlier chapters. Now it's like critical. Yuffie she has an ability where she can make her base attack elemental, and you can pick which one it is. So you use your ability, you pick which element you want, and that obviously is a big advantage when you're fighting sort of more magic-based characters that are weak to certain things. And chaining her and Cloud, but then worrying what Aerith is doing because she's got an auto cast and heal equipped, which is great, but actually you want her to be doing some other bits as well. Like the combat gets quite rampant and can be a little bit frenetic. And as I just said earlier, I've not played a game because that's not what I wanted. And suddenly I'm at a point in this where I'm like, oh, I'm getting that. But actually it's not constant. Like the downtime between battles in the game is quite a lot. There's a lot of story at this point. So it's kind of a reasonable balance between these things, but it's making me better at the battle system because I have to be. I died, got a game over just to some normal enemies. Well, this sort of mini boss, this giant adamantoise thing.
That thing.
Yes.
That card in Magic the Gathering is a fucking
well, it just runs.
It breaks the rule of Magic.
Really? Well,
it's got 20 toughness, and all damage that comes to you gets damage put on it, and damage remains on it, which is not how it works. And like creatures at the end of turn, everything goes back to full health, right? Not this guy, but also he absorbs. So he's just like a
big tank.
Yeah.
Which in very similar in Final Fantasy, lots of health, big tank.
Yeah.
But it also goes into like a fury mode and charges you, but is also firing out things constantly. So you are dodging. And to sort of mirror what you were saying about Neverness To Everness, the later battles, especially when you're fighting Sephiroth at the end of the game, you are doing a lot of movement. You are dodging out of the way of attacks. You've got to one of his final attacks, Sephiroth, in the last battle. He basically just blasts out two beams 180 degrees and then just spins around. So you're like, well, I've got to try and attack him, but actually I've just got to run out of the way of this thing. And then I've got to try and attack and keep running, and then attack and run and attack and run. Well, no, now I've built up my ATB. Now I can do a big attack. But actually, if I do a big attack, I'm now stood in one place, and this thing is coming right towards me. So it gets really involved, which was great. It just wasn't that throughout the whole game. And I'm like, if this game had been 60 hours, 50 hours, but had been this level of combat and strategy and intricacy throughout the entire thing, then okay, you had a little bit of that through some of the boss battles. But a lot of the early game is just press the button, smash the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, man, I've spent a lot of time in this game, and I've enjoyed what I've spent. I will mention the ending a little bit, but if it had been 50 hours, 60 hours, and had been that level of intricate combat, I'd have enjoyed it that much more, I think.
Yeah.
And that leads me then into the end. And Final Fantasy VII, when you get to this point, is only about halfway through of the original game. When Aerith dies, it's spoilers, fucking hell.
That's the end of disc 1 on the PC 3 CD game.
And
Which
so
is
it's
how
the
I
end
played
of
Final
game.
Fantasy
It's now at the end of game 2 in the remake. But they have brought in Zack, which was not a character in the original game, but was a character in later lore as they started to explore other things, and was in his own
Well, he was
game.
in the lore of
Well,
this game, just not
he was, but
explicitly.
yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very minor character. He's much more
Definitely
involved
wasn't
now,
on screen.
and he you control him in certain parts. You know, one of the again the fight with Sephiroth, which is I think 6-stage battle. Zack is part of that, and he is tied in because suddenly the game starts talking about multiple instances of worlds. So some decisions split, and there's actually another instance of a world running, and Zack is inhabiting that instance of a world. There's a big split. So essentially there's 2 worlds running through the game currently, and then there's crossing over of them. And then they start to talk about Aerith and how she can experience the live stream, and the same as Sephiroth, he can actually influence the live stream in all of these different instances of worlds and stuff like this. I'm like, fuck are they talking about? What is going on here? Why have they made this so fucking overly complicated? And I got to the end and I'm like, cool, Aerith's dead. 0 impact. At that point, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't actually care.
Well, is she dead in both worlds?
Yes, I think so. She's dead in all of the worlds, but because she is a Cetra and has some level of understanding, essentially the game ends with her like waving the characters. They all think she's dead, right? When she is dead, they all think she's dead. Cloud can still see her, so she can obviously communicate through the live stream in some kind of way to him.
Oh, that's so much worse.
And then you get to like another little cutscene where Zack is sat in the chapel still, even though he's gone and dead and something, but he's not. And I'm like, I don't know. How the fuck are they? What are they gonna do in the third fucking game? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have a thought. I'm increasingly wondering if it was like, we want to do a Final Fantasy that like Chrono triggers it up, but because of multiverses, it's not time, it's multiverses. And then it was like, no. And then someone said, well, what if we made it based on an old game? And so they're like, sure, we'll milk Final Fantasy. We were making this remake of Final Fantasy VII anyway.
Yep.
We'll just blend the 2 and stretch it across a bunch of games.
Yeah.
But I say that only because it's like, I don't know. I will always remember. This is one of those pivotal video game memories of. I'm so glad it wasn't spoiled for me. But like, the whole point is, she dead.
Yeah.
You didn't see it coming, and I guess that's the problem. I guess they wrote it knowing that people know.
Absolutely. Like 60%, 70% of people playing this game probably played the original.
Yeah. And 80+% no.
Yeah.
But like, I still think that's like misunderstanding. It's like why it's the same problem with why so many people hate spoilers. But it's like, no, good storytelling. It doesn't matter. It's why we reread things, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But like that moment is still powerful in the narrative, even if you know it's coming. And part of the narrative was you didn't see it coming. It's still powerful when you redo it. But I feel like doing it that way says like, oh well, we can do a happy ending or whatever, or potentially bring her back in game 3. But it's like, but that's such a important part of that game. And the gut punch, even second time I've played the game more than once, it still sucks, right? Like,
absolutely. You've invested, and I think that's it for me. With the original game, you don't know it's coming. You've invested in the character. Like the first time I played Final Fantasy VII, I called them all fucking random things.
Yeah.
You know, I think she was called Doris in my first playthrough of Final Fantasy. I don't know why,
Nice.
and I can't remember
Yeah,
what.
it's close to Eris.
Yeah. So it's like,
Because I'm assuming you played it on the localization where it wasn't Aerith but Eris.
yes, it was, yes, and yeah, on PlayStation,
Yeah.
and you invested, right? You invested in this character, and it's suddenly like, oh shit, that she is gone. And I don't think I'd
Yeah.
ever played a game before where they're like, no, you just can't be this character anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's gone. All of her materia that you've invested is just gone. Everything's just gone.
Yeah, I never remember. I couldn't remember if you lose her material.
I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure you do. I think that just to add to the devastation of the story, like, oh, things.
But that's all my cure material because the game wanted her to be my healer. Now I don't have a healer. Fuck. Let me edit this hex file. That's.
So yeah,
that just seems like such a. Even if it makes sense or propels the overall series narrative, that feels very much like a same problem you have in like things like Game of Thrones seasons 5 and 6, where they're trying to get to a point where the ending works or is something cool for the ending, and they lose track of the local narrative. But it's like regardless, this game has you not care about one of the most like impactful, emotive moments of the game. It's supposed to be a remake, homage, reconceptualization of.
Because it does, you know, just the idea that she still inhabits the world in a way does take away.
But in a way that Cloud can see her. That's like that's even.
Yeah.
If it was like a fading voice and a cut like a B-roll of the live stream, you know, I could forgive that a bit. But it was like
she like talking to him from the other side in some really strained way. But no, it's just very much sort of like, oh no, yeah, I'm just hanging around. Don't worry about it.
See, and so what I'm saying is a redeeming thing would be, oh, Cloud is barely a human and is attached so much to this fake thing that he is and this life he's cobbled together that this is psychosis and like she's dead,
absolutely,
and that'd be that cool reveal in Game 3. Still fucked. This is what I mean. The local narrative. It still fucked this one though. Like, so, like even if they aren't doing the thing where they seem to be doing, it's still bad.
Yeah. I very much hope, and again, that is Cloud's story, right? That he is fucked up.
Oh, he's psychosis. Like,
and the game presents it to you in a little, you know, Rebirth presents it to you okay. He's not as fucked up as all of the other characters, all of the other soldiers who are following Sephiroth and are already changed and are just the shambling sort of lads that wander around. You know, he has some kind of restraint to not have become fully that yet, because he is, I suppose, he is slightly different. He's not a human who's been turned into a soldier. He's different, but I would really hope that because of his story and because of things like the expanded lore, like the film Advent Children, you know, which is a direct sequel to the original game, where again Cloud, he's fucked up. He's like, I'm so affected by all of the things that have happened in the game, I'm just removing myself from society. And then he gets this illness which affects everybody else. And so I hope in the third game that this is explored a little bit. And as you say, it would be redeeming and develop it or exploring that psychosis in the third game would be fantastic. But it has, because it hasn't been done very well in the second game, has ruined that experience of the second game.
Yeah. The game sequels, elements in series still have to stand alone. Right?
They do, and it'd be interesting to see what the narrative is around it at the moment, because is it Rebirth just come out on Xbox and Switch, or is it Remake that's just come out on Xbox and Switch?
I have no idea.
Because obviously it's so Switch 2. It's been locked on PlayStation for years. and you can play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth now on Switch 2 and Series X and S. So yes, Rebirth has come out very recently on both of those platforms. So hey, I've gone back to it. It's obviously in the zeitgeist at the moment. Of course, we're hip and cool and play games from now. Sure, just the PlayStation version that's been out for several years.
Yeah.
But yes, it'd be interesting to see what everybody starts to say about it. With maybe more people experiencing it now that didn't sort of get into the PlayStation version. And it will also be interesting because I know Rebirth didn't do very well, I believe, in terms of numbers, or as well. Okay, sorry, I'll rephrase that. It didn't do as well as Square wanted it to do, or had set their expectations at it doing. So going on to Switch is huge because of the amount of people that have got a Switch now. So
I mean, this is the worry I had at the beginning, which is like people wanted FF7 remake.
Mm-hmm.
They got something that was neat, and a lot of people really liked it. But like the bait and switch, I mean, people they hinted, but they didn't really reveal how much this was not the same thing. Also, because they still haven't really told everyone if it's a trilogy or whatever. And I think one of the problems is it seemed like people thought it was, people assume trilogy, right?
Yeah.
And then so little of the game is done in the first $70 game, and then the second is
don't
$80
even
game?
leave fucking
and
the
it's
city.
Still like we just finished disc 1, right? They have said that like there's a lot of running around and stuff that like is being optimized such that you shouldn't be reading a game per chunk. Like the whole game will run this course, and then people were like, "Oh, I guess that makes sense because you're doing all this weird shit at the end of game 1." But you essentially got to end of game 2, and you're like, "Cool, I'm a third of the way through the old game."
Yeah, half of the way through. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's enough of the plot that's still there that you're doing that game still.
Yeah, I can't remember. I definitely in my head from the original play of Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, cool. All I've got to do now is the crater, and just fucking fight Sephiroth. That's it. That's all that's left to do. But there's more. There's definitely more, and I'm sure they'll throw in new stuff as well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I want to breed chocobos. I want to breed chocobos. Why can't I breed chocobos? That's just thrown out completely.
You're never doing that in these games, my dude.
I want to spend hundreds of hours to get a gold chocobo so I can just run across the map and get fucking Knights of the Round off the tiniest little island to the east.
It's not so wild that was a thing.
Yeah, absolutely is.
And a found thing. Although, I mean, games were weirdly simpler then, right? Because I don't know how that was found, but I'm pretty sure it was via ROMs. Like there was this golden age of like, even in the PS1 era, right, where you could get deep enough into the code, to find out that there were things and places, etc. I mean, I know, like, I remember the first time I picked it up again, I had the PC version. I immediately was like, I just want to, like, I don't want to think. I also just want to. I'm not sure I want to do a full playthrough, so I'm just going to use this hex edited save file. And someone like, there's ways of doing this that are like less cheeky, but I was just like, I've got everything. Let's see how this goes. And it turns out it's awful because they gave you the like really ugly. Well, his ultimate sword is like a sword that then has like a second layer that's kind of see through. It's like red and then kind of blue or something. Like, so you have all these things, but I walk out and there's the 2 guards who you hop off the train and you hit those 2 guards. Got all of the material at max. I make the mistake of being like, well, let's see Knights of the Round. So that took fucking years off my life. And then the second one, second battle I have, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just use Cloud's default, which they had kindly given me the 4x cut,
Yeah.
which hits for 9999 each. I'm like, every fight you can hit once and stop, no, oh god, this is like
No, that when you got to the point where I played Final Fantasy VII, the original game, enough that I've done everything in that game. Beaten all of the weapons and done all of the things.
This was me returning.
Yes. And I think that is when you're like, I've got 4 times Night of the Round. That's the linked thing. That just like, I don't need to do anything else really. Okay, the weapons you do need to do a little bit more. It took a little bit more than just doing that, but not a huge amount more really. But you're like, cool, I'll do this, and just sit there for 10 minutes. Just watch it play out 4 times.
Yeah.
Fine, sure.
I'm like, this time I'll. And so I was, because the summons were my favorite. It was like the first game I really played with that type of mechanic. So that I tried playing through the first couple, like the first chunk of the game, and just trying all the summons. I'm like, they take a long time. But also, I realized it just like ruined the flow of the game. Even starting at level 10 instead of 1, I would have had more fun. Or like I don't like this type of gaming, the like really god mode version.
Yeah.
That taught me a lot, and so like I've rarely got the next time I really went into modding after that like time. This was like in a high school or maybe early undergrad when I like went when I was like I finished all the things before. I just want to like play through, but like the next time I really started modding things was like Skyrim, and that was to like see what the engine could do, or put Thomas the Tank Engine instead of dragons. Just because the modding community was so insane. The most time I've spent in Skyrim has been like staring at the same few scenes, because I've like literally loaded mods, looked around, then gone back and unloaded it. Like I've spent more time not playing that game, but playing that game.
I mean that's what I like to. Yeah, that's almost the only redeeming quality of Fallout 4 for me. Was that you could turn Deathclaws into Macho Man Randy Savage, and which is just the Deathclaw in the Macho Man Randy Savage outfit. It's not.
Oh, that's very good.
Like there are some like those games have fantastic mods.
Yeah,
that is the one redeeming quality of almost every Bethesda game. Is just the modding community is insane. You don't get that with these. You're not sort of Thomas the Tank Engine instead of the the Red Dragon in the Temple of the Ancients or something. But yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So big games. We're playing big games at the moment, and
so I mean, how much do you have to do more in this game?
I think I have got Gilgamesh to fight, which again, a new element. You've been doing side quests throughout to collect a set of armor. I can't remember what they're called, but proto relics. You're collecting a set of armor, and this like 8-armed samurai is constantly arguing with you about them. And I've fought him a couple of times, I think, just with Cloud, because again, Cloud gets pulled into this alternate space to fight him. And then once you'd collected all of the proto relics, a big gate appears under Midgard, and you take the boat through, or the tiny bronco, which is the plane, the tiny bronco you travel around in, but the wings have been ripped off, so it's actually a boat, right? And so you travel around the sea, you go through, you get to an island, which is Gilgamesh's island. I haven't done anything yet, but the next part is for me, I think, to fight the summon that I have collected. So I will put, and part of the new Final Fantasy is that it's not a cutscene for a summon to do an amount of damage. They join you in battle and walk around the
but they're like
battlefield.
computer controlled?
They're computer controlled. You can instead of doing a character's ability when you've filled up your gauge,
Oh,
you can tell it to do an ability.
Right.
So there is a level of control there. But I think with Gilgamesh, I've got to fight the summons again, basically, which is I've already fought them once to get the materia. So now I have to, and that's one of the things. Again, like this game's got a lot of exploration in to find side quests and items and stuff. But the summons were just, fight them in a VR combat simulator thing, and then here you go, here's the materia. Oh, all right. Well, it's cool finding Kajat just before you get into Temple of the Ancients in the original game.
Right.
Like it's literally just behind a bush in the original game. You're like, I've got to walk this way. If I just go around this bush, here it is. I have a new summon. Amazing. But you fight it instead in a combat simulator, and then you get the materia. So now I've got to fight them again. I think that's it, because that is the only thing on my list of things that isn't done. So I think that will be it for me. And again, what's the reward of doing it? Just knowing that I've done it and I've 100%ed the game. Will I? I don't know, because I've just...
I was going to say, are you actively committed to that?
No, I'm not. I've just bought Mixtape, which is a narrative, very short narrative indie game, all about a group of friends and skating and 80s music. So
this looks neat.
Yeah, I think I'll play that instead.
I mean, the wonderful thing about games that you almost own, what's a dig on licensing, is you can come back and finish it at some point. Like that might be a thing that you do to ramp yourself up to like the third one.
Absolutely. And there's going to be some information on the third one coming out shortly. The news cycle has kind of refreshed over the last week as well, and I think some of that is to do with it releasing on Switch 2 and Xbox, Rebirth releasing on those very recently. But they've come out and said we've got news of the third one very soon, and who knows what that will be. Is it in a PlayStation State of Play? Is it its own sort of release trailer or something? We're almost upon not E3, coming up to June.
Yeah. Wow.
So there may be something that happens around that time where we'll see a trailer. And I read the other day that I can't remember who, the producer or the director, one of them has played played part 3 through something like 30 times already. Obviously playtesting, but it's in a state to get from the start to the finish already. So it might not be that far away, but likely a 2027 game, I would imagine. I can't see it being any earlier than that. So yes, I may return to it again to finish bits off, a few weeks before the third part comes out. Or I may just go, I'm going to be playing another 40 hours in the fucking third, or 50 hours in the third part. That's probably enough Final Fantasy for me for another 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, what a weird thing to say. But yes, I think that's probably the case. It's it's a series that I still think it's probably my favorite series of all time, but like, I mean, I have finished all of the 13 games, and that is the 13 one and 13 in the sequels. Not, I'm aware there's more. But like, I never actually started. I guess FF15 came out in a time where I was avoiding it like the plague because I was worried about falling into it, and it was like meh. And then 16 came out, and I felt nothing. Based on its like trailers and things, I still kind of want to play 15, which is interesting because I know people who played it and they have fond memories.
15's alright. I like 15.
Also, Dumb Boys on a Road Trip is
The
I'm curious about it, right?
I didn't like the ending of 15 and the stealth sections. It was, lots of people didn't. That was a big issue for that game. They've
Mm,
changed it. So since I played it, it's now a different ending. You don't have to do those elements anymore. And it's another game where they did release some DLC for it as well.
okay.
So you get to play, I think, almost like prequel episodes for the four lads. Um, so there's content there, but again with 16, I similarly didn't really feel anything. But I do wonder if that's because Final Fantasy VII Remake had already released.
I'll
So
say I think
we got to a point where Final Fantasy release since maybe my earliest is 6, right? So almost every Final Fantasy that has come out, I have been like, yes, I'm playing that. I think the first one that I questioned was Final Fantasy X-2. And I'm like, okay,
which
well,
underrated.
it's good. It's good. I like just the three girls, and there's the job. It's actually a job system in it.
Yeah, I think people were so obsessed with it was girls changing outfits that they missed that it's like a really cool way of doing the job system that was super flexible.
Absolutely. And you've moved away from fucking ha 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 ha
Yeah,
ha and all that, you know, shit.
yeah.
And then
You're gonna make me want
13.
to play FF10 again.
13 obviously is then a trilogy as well. So has there
Yeah,
been a bit of a saturation of Final Fantasy? Are we at that point? Maybe you and I, but just generally across games, there's so much
I,
Final Fantasy now that 16 was bound to be a bit of a
I mean,
kind of flop.
I think also like it's probably I'm gonna it's probably in line with like how corporately run
Mm,
large serious intellectual properties are, right? Because the the sameness that comes out to make sure people like it is exactly what FF didn't used to do,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like these were just, I mean, JRPGs in worlds that were sometimes cyber magic punk, whatever you want to call it, but like crystals, right?
Hmm.
Crystals, weird birds, like spells, like even summons came late and they became a cool addition. And like I think FF10 did summons really neat because it
Hmm.
was like important to a character.
Yeah.
Versus the like if you think about summons in FF7, like it was doing a lot that game, right? But exactly what you're saying, like I found a little crystal on the ground
Yeah.
behind a bush. I put it in this pickaxe. Now a giant demon. Like it's not grounded, but that's
Hmm.
fine because the world is cool and interesting, and you get to suspend your disbelief. But also, I think part of that is like going to the more action oriented things, making it feel like you are actively doing the things means you can't do you don't get that the dissonance would be awful, right?
Yeah.
That's why you kind of have to have the summon as a character
Mm.
because you're moving into this and like some of the magic of JRPGs is there's the space between things lets your mind connect them, right? I saw a really good video on YouTube by this Juniper Dev. She's like a games designer undergrad student who's like really passionate about games and has some really insightful stuff and like also shares a little bunch of stuff like I made this game for this game jam or for
Nice.
this assignment. And she did one on graphical fidelity and how the best sunset she's ever seen in a video game is the Minecraft one, and it's just a fucking square.
Really? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that's like how the video starts, and like I think this is the vibe, like I'm of plot and like game mechanics and how they affect things, right?
Mm.
So like her point was photorealism just doesn't like when you see something that isn't quite there, your mind fills it in and that's like
Mm.
part of the
Mm.
magic. And so when you see the Minecraft sunset, you're like, this is a beautiful sunset, because the art is good, but it isn't trying to just be a sunset. And if you see something in a modern game that's a sunset, you are just looking at a sunset that someone chose the colors for, etc. You
Yeah.
can't fill it in. And I think I think this is the same thing with the shift between I'm inputting generic commands and then watching things happen. I'm having to interpret how the thing is doing it, right? And there's
Mm.
a big difference between me pushing 3 buttons to suplex a ghost train, and me pushing please suplex this ghost train, and then watching a crude animation and thinking, in this world, this man suplexed a ghost train. But like if you think about doing that in like using like a Hadoken motion
Mhm.
to like actually make the guy do it, that doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just like there is magic in trying to in showing less.
Absolutely.
And part of that is, I think, building on what Judah Bertev said, part of that is like how you interact is the same dissonance slash, right? It's also why
Mm.
like CGI goop doesn't interest people, even if it looks super photorealistic, because you're like, you kind of know that this is all like computers can do that, but practical effects still wow you.
Yeah. 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 Nice. Nice. Ping
Yeah,
me the link
yeah,
to that video
yeah.
as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll chuck it in the episode description as well if people want to
That's it.
check it out. Nice. I did have another talking point, but I think maybe we'll leave it there for this
Sounds good.
evening. Heavy sort of RPG-ish episode, I guess.
That's what happens when Lucy doesn't show
Yeah.
up.
Can you imagine? Lucy would have walked off by now. She'd have just been like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about anything. I'm just going to go drink my beer in the corner and just be fucking quiet." But there you go. That's what you get. Completely different things every fucking episode with us. We'll return round to our beers. We'll start with you, Adil, as we did at the start of the show with the Beak and the Harvest number 2.
It was good. I don't think it really changed that much. I noticed. Yeah, I think my suspicions were correct. I was sipping it lightly throughout, taking medium-sized sips just to, feel something. Um, and then near the end, I was just kind of like, okay, I think I'm done with this. I'll just like finish these last few bits and 2 quaffs. It's really good. I would definitely seek it out again easily. Again, I think this is one thing I will say is, because it was so steady and that taste curve is so consistent, like the taste is so consistent across the taste curve because it's more of like an intensity
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, if I was like in like somewhere like the Hop Knocker, like a craft brewery pub, I would maybe reach for something else afterwards, not because I didn't like it, but just because I want other tastes.
Yeah.
But if I was in the park and I had a couple of these, I wouldn't begrudge the second one. Like, I'm
Fair.
not saying I
Yeah.
didn't want it, right? But yeah, really good.
Good.
I'm looking forward to. I think it's an 8%. The next one.
Ooh.
Can't
Nice.
remember, but yeah, I think
Number
it's
3.
so. This is a double dry hopped IPA, and I think I have the Dippa as the number 3.
Yeah. Nice. What was the first one? Do you remember from the top of your head? Was it a pale or?
I think it was an IPA.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me about your beer and I will.
Yes. So the Wiper and True, it did benefit from being a bit warmer. The flavour didn't unfold a huge amount more, but it definitely became a little bit more nuanced. You could pick out those flavours a little bit better the warmer it was. So I think having it in the fridge for about 3 hours, it could probably have done with being there for 2, if not maybe 1. Just chilled it rather than making it cold. And it benefited from being that little bit warmer, and the flavours unlocking just a little bit with that. So the caramel kicked in that little bit more. It wasn't just sort of, it's an iced coffee with a shot of caramel in. You can actually start to get a little bit more of the, there is a salted caramel here. It's actually it is a roasted coffee note with that kind of alongside it that's layered there rather than just like smashing against each other, sort of thing, or at least not even that. Actually, that would have been a better first sort of impression on the beer, rather than they kind of were just there at that start. Yeah. And I think actually with that warming, you can see how the flavour builds up a bit. So you take a sip and you're getting the journey through it rather than just block of flavour, which is, it's so insane that is a thing, that being colder makes the flavour profile work slightly differently than it being a little bit warmer. And it is fundamentally a much better beer 3-4 degrees warmer than I had it at the start of the episode. So I would have it again. I would just make sure that I have only chilled it for an hour or something before drinking it, rather than chucking it in the fridge for several. So yes, that was the Wiper and True Salted Caramel Shake. Good. So
I will just to finish so the Harvest one is a 5% double dry hopped pale. You were right. And then the Harvest 2 is a 6.5% double dry hopped IPA.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Harvest 3 is a DIPA.
Just the DIPA.
Presumably double dry hopped.
I was going to say, we don't tend to get double dry hopped DIPAs, do we?
No.
Why is that?
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, so the one, according to their website, notes of mango, blueberry, peach, zesty citrus, soft tropical fruit, touch of dark dank resin. 2 bright bursts of lime and grapefruit leading to juicy tangerine, passion fruit, and subtle piney edge. Oh, I think I nailed that one.
Nice, yeah, you did.
I didn't say piney specifically. I think I said hoppy.
Bitter,
but I also tangerine. Oh, I said lemon. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good. I feel like I was worried that my brain wasn't, I will not read the third one, actually, now that I've said that. I will close that tab.
Yes. Yeah, ignore it. It's too tempting to read. Ooh, what am I going to know?
I mean, I'm not going to remember what the fuck I read next time. But let's pretend.
Good. So, dear friends, if you drank any interesting beers or you've played any games that you want to talk to us about, come and join us on the Discord. Pipe up and chat to us about the games that you have played. You can hit one of us up to get a link to our Discord. I'm Nova47 over on Blue Sky. Aadil is
at the Omniarch.
Or you can get all of us at Out of Lives. You can also go to the Out of Lives YouTube page or come to outoflives.net to comment, look at the video version of the podcast so you can see the beers that we are drinking as well. And if you have 30 seconds, leave us a review and a rating on your podcast service of choice. Sure, that's the thing these days, isn't it? Okay, hit the bell, like, subscribe, do a dance, buy the thing, have a thing.
10 seconds. Yeah. Classic.
Just do the, shout at us from afar. We'll hear.
It's always tuned out, my dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Goodbye.
Bye.
www.outoflives.net